After 500 years, there's a JOMA video, or just video in general. Yippee!
The Starter Survivor. Very simple to use, but it doesn't have one thing everyone else has. Stacking nerfs. You can stack up as many noobs as you want, and he isn't nerfed at all. For stacking nerfs, just increase cooldown's abilities and decrease the stall duration for push for every noob in the game. Guest went from being a support with really high speed to a support sentinel hybrid with above average speed, which sounds fine, until you realize all of his moves cost stamina. Now normally that wouldn't be an issue, stamina regen's pretty fast out of the way. 10 stamina regen. That's right, your stamina drain and regen is the exact same. Shielder can run for longer, for God's sake. At least he can get some stamina back for hitting kicks and being a net negative stamina, but his kit sums up in 2 words. Not enough. He's high risk, low reward. Your kicks can be punished for hitting them. Your drop kick, yeah, it would be a decent stun option if it wasn't for the fact missing just fucking kills you. I'm not even kidding, being set to negative 100 stamina for missing a move that doesn't even do that much damage is insane. The wind up for it is pretty big too. If the killer is paying attention, you are not hitting that.
He's overall pretty fair since his entire gimmick is hitting parries for various buffs, depending on if you choose to bash or not. One small issue I have with him though is his charge not really doing much. Aside from using it to knock the killer a bit or deal damage, charge is mainly used when you whip a block to try and get out. It does a horrible job at that. Sheriff is a good ranged sentinel that deals good damage to stackers as well as being able to help teammates from far away with Lasso. Lasso's the problem here. I have 2 problems with it. It's a gamble on if you hit the survivor you want or not, and it's completely useless in LMS because of the wind up. My solutions are, Lasso now picks up the lowest HP survivor on the group. Lasso now has less wind up in LMS but also a bit less range. Knight is the sentinel of the cast. Really good damage, pretty good survivability with his parry and Braveheart passive. My one issue is, you are not getting Braveheart in 80% of matches outside of boss fights. Dealing 250 damage is already a challenge on its own, but the fact it scales down on its own makes it impossible. And that's not even including the stacking nerfs, making Braveheart even harder to get. Oh yeah, and also, if you don't have any type of support, you are just not getting Braveheart without dying. One simple fix would be make it so Braveheart only scales down once it's triggered. Brawler is a slow starter sentinel that starts off with his punches being really weak to his punches being very strong and also gets a lot more HP. Now you would expect to get a very strong move for being maxed out, which you do get, being a 135 damage grab. The problem is you'll never actually get Disarm. Disarm requires you to work out 3 times, which in total takes 5 entire minutes. And even with you hitting your punches to decrease the time on workout, it will still take so long that when you get Disarm, you'll most likely miss it and be forced to wait a whole 70 seconds to try hitting it again. But by then, you would be dead, or the round would just be over.
Jester is pretty weird, as he gets either absolutely fucking obliterated, or killers run away from him. His moves are a counter that gives you a massive speed boost, confetti that locks the killer for a bit, and a pie that gives break. Problem, you can only get pies for hitting your counter, as a support that needs to stay in the back to really help. Needing to get in the front lines and hit your counter to keep helping defeats the entire point of the support. It might be a bit of a hot take, but please just make Pies regen overtime LMS and give Pie less wind-ups.
Instead of complaining about Doctor, I am going to do a quick rant, because Doctor right now is perfectly fine. The inject nerf is good. You not being able to hit killers with it is perfectly fine. I was reading such as suggestions in a Discord server, and people really want the nerf reverted. No, the nerf is perfect. Plus, Doctor already has a self-defense move. He doesn't need a second self-defense move. My personal favorite survivor. God, does she need some buffs. First, she has very low self-sustain. Yes, she has Rupture, but to use Rupture, you can't be playing your song to buff your teammates. Two separate things that can be done here to fix this is you can now use Rupture while playing. We'll go on a longer cooldown and stagger for a tiny bit less. And a second option is a second healing point for the song. When you're about halfway through the song, you gain 35 to 40 HP.
Assistant is a support that helps in a lot of different ways, like healing, slowing down the killer, or staggering them. I have two main issues with him. First of all, restore is almost never worth the battery. It heals around 15 HP for 30% battery at best. Scaling Nuff can put this up to 45% or more battery. It's almost always better to use Salvo instead. It's a really good way to make distance. It gives you battery back if you hit it, and it gives you a lot of XP. As for my second problem, the battery passive. Assistant has that passive where the lower his battery is, the slower he becomes. Overall, it's not a bad passive, but its major flaw is how much it slows you down. At around 20% left, Apprentice's skeletons are faster than you, and you have nothing to defend yourself with. I feel like the speed should decrease by 17.5% at 0% instead of the current 25% speed. Also, it makes Assistance very limited in his actions during LMS. If he ever goes below 50% mid LMS, yeah, you pretty much just already lost. You are not making any distance anymore.
A Sentinel support hybrid meant for high outbursts of damage with his axe and flamethrower. Two issues I have are his passive only being useful against Fireworks' Fire Trail move, and his axe getting the windup reduced to 1 second in LMS. Usually that wouldn't be a problem. In fact, 1 second for a stun is pretty long, except his axe stuns for 4 seconds and deals 200 damage, almost half of Fireworks' HP. Just nerfs the damage and stun time a bit in LMS.
I know he's meant to be a backliner with really high damage, but at least other backliners like Assistant have something to defend themselves. Sniper just has nothing. Yeah, okay, flashbang is a thing, but a killer that pays attention will look away from it really easily. If he ever gets caught in the chase and its teammates are far away or useless, yeah, he's as good as dead. Also, I'm not repeating myself, but please increase his XP gain. My main issue with her is the rework of a transfusion move. Don't get me wrong, it needed a rework since Dolahan and Anarchist could just parry consistently, making it useless. But the new one is kinda meh. It works like the Drain, where you have to keep line of sight with them for more value. The longer that is done, the more value you get off of it. Problem: it takes nearly 15 seconds to get the full value. 15 seconds of not taking damage and keeping constant line of sight is just never happening. Either make it take less time, or making so breaking line of sight doesn't cancel it, it just slows down the progression of it.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'm sorry it took so long. Have a great rest of your day.